Greetings everyone, I'm the Technomage, back again with The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Episode 3. And I have some things to say about this episode, so let's get on with it. So we begin the episode with Arondir being dragged by orcs through a slave camp where he's reunited with the other elves who were part of his garrison. Apparently, while they were returning home, they got captured by the very same orcs, and they together with the people of that destroyed town we saw on episode 2 and peoples from other towns, they are forced to dig tunnels and the like so the orcs can hide from the sunlight. Meanwhile, Galadriel wakes up on the boat alongside Halbrand, who informs her that they are being sailed port, and she realizes that they are in a ship, not a boat, a ship. Sorry about that. A ship that is commanded by men, and the captain of this ship, is holding her brother's dagger. And when they ask where are they making port, Galadriel realizes that there is only one place that they could be, the island kingdom of Numenor. And once again, we are gifted with some beautiful visuals. I mean, seriously, I want this as a painting on my wall now. So anyway, apparently the island of Numenor was gifted to the men by the elves after the war against Morgoth as a reward or something. But apparently Galadriel is not ecstatic of being here. They are led to by the captain. They are led to the queen and in her courtroom, and they go to present their respects, and they are told that we don't do that here. And before they speak with the queen, Halbrand advised Galadriel to not antagonize the Numenorians, to not be aggressive, to try to take things slowly, and of course she doesn't listen. What's the first thing she does when she talks to the Queen of Numenor? She antagonizes her and all of her people. She's really aggressive again, and she immediately starts conflict. Luckily, Halbrand is quick to defuse the situation and even managed to recover Galadriel's dagger in front of everyone on this court. I mean, here is the captain of the ship, and if you look here on his right hip, I think it is. No, wait, or is here? Is one of these two? No, yes, I think it's here. Here he's carrying Galadriel's dagger, and right in front of everyone, without nobody noticing, especially the captain, he managed to recover her knife. And the queen asks about the captain, and she's informed that his name is Elendil, as in King Elendil, the leader of the men during the final war against Sauron, led the men in the elf men alliance against Mordor. So that means that this young lad over here is his son Isildur, who is right now a cadet for the Sea Watch or Sea Guards of Numenor. Then, after that, Captain Elendil is called by the Queen to explain his actions about bringing an elf to Numenor, because apparently elves have not been welcome in Numenor for many years, and we learned that Elendil means one who loves the stars, but in ancient Elvish it also means elf friend. And the Queen immediately antagonizes him because she thinks he's a traitor who brought an elf to Numenor to start trouble. What kind of trouble? We don't know, because we haven't been explained what's the beef between elves and Numenorians. Meanwhile, Arondir and the other elves, alongside all the human prisoners, continue to dig for the orcs, and Arondir is informed that it seems the orcs are looking for something, and Arondir asks perhaps a weapon, because we see some orcs rummaging among pieces of metal, so maybe they are looking for that sword that Theo, Bronwyn's son, and found under that barn and has been carrying around ever since. Maybe. So anyway, they are supposed to continue. They're supposed to continue digging, but there are trees on their path, and the orcs tell them just cut them off. And of course, in this dire situation, their captain, the Watch Warden, steps up to lead his men and keeps them safe by antagonizing their captors and giving them some New Age Greenpeace advertisement or something. And of course, the orcs don't take it too kindly, and they kill one of them, which is the elf who is Arondir's patrol partner. And Arondir says, and he decides that he will be the one who cuts the tree, and he gets to work. Meanwhile, back in Numenor, Galadriel is playing Assassin's Creed with the guards, trying to steal a ship so that she can leave Numenor and go to Middle-earth. But Captain Elendil stops her and warns her that she will get nowhere on her own, and there is no reason for her to be in a rush. And Galadriel, of course, becomes really aggressive, saying, "Who are you to tell me what to do?" Because, of course, you can't tell Galadriel what to do. And Captain Elendil surprises her by speaking in Elvish, and she tells him, she asks, "Where did you learn to speak Elvish?" And he answers, "I learned in our house of lore." And she asks, "Where is this house of lore of yours?" And he says, "A couple of hours in riding." And this seems to... And Galadriel seems really enthusiastic about the riding part, and... Wait a minute. Is she smiling? By the fires of Mordor, Galadriel is smiling! Wow! So, meanwhile, back in Numenor, well, back in the city, they are still in Numenor, Halbrand is trying to get a job as a blacksmith. Apparently he's a very good blacksmith, but nobody is willing to give him a job because he doesn't have a certification by the Smith Guild in Numenor. So he goes to a bar to eat, and some of the nobles that were at the Queen's court when they arrived immediately tried to antagonize him and provoke him into a fight because he came with an elf. And Halbrand managed to defuse the situation and even win the sympathy of the people by buying everybody's drinks. Alcohol, the universal lubricator. And he managed to steal the guild insignia of one of these noblemen, but he is found out and a fight ensures, a fight that Halbrand wins quite easily and quite savagely. But he is immediately arrested for attacking a group of noblemen. Meanwhile, Galadriel arrives at the House of Lore, which is this library that was built by an elf who turns out to be Elrond's brother. And her search for the sigil actually gives a result. Apparently, an account by a human spy that was captured by orcs reveals that the sigil that she found, it's not a sigil. It's actually a symbol of a map. It's a mountain range in the Southlands where the orcs were supposed to regroup under the banner of Sauron and to create a realm of their own where evil will thrive. One that is located at the east of Middle Earth, alongside in a valley inside a mountain range, with a very very big mountain of fire. Wink, wink. Meanwhile, the Harfoots are preparing for the end of their festival and the beginning and to start their new migration. But Nori's father leg is still really really hurt and he can barely walk, much less push his cartwheel, and his wife is worried that they will be left behind. And then we have an actually really touching moment between the two of them, where Laszlo, I think was his name, or Largo, tries to comfort his wife and he reminds her of the day they met and how beautiful she was, and we have, as I said, a really touchy moment between a heterosexual couple. Wow, 2 in 2 episodes, not bad. Meanwhile, while they prepare for their last supper on this glade, Nori sneaks into Old Sadok's cartwheel and starts looking at the star maps on his book and manages to find one that matches the constellation that the stranger is looking for. So she returns to the banquet where Old Sadok is giving a speech, and we have another really touchy moment where they are remembering the people that got left behind because they died by many forms of accidents and unfortunate happenings. And I think they mentioned the parents of Nori's friend, because we will see later during the migration that she's alone pulling her own cart. But while everybody is remembering the fallen ones, the stranger comes into their camp and starts reading the pieces of parchment that Nori stole from Old Sadok, and he sees the constellations he is looking for. But he starts a commotion and everybody gets really really scared, and the pie is out of the oven because the stranger reveals himself and he calls out for Nori. And everybody gets really angry at Nori for breaking the rules, and bringing a possibly dangerous outsider into their group. But Nori defends herself, saying that we have to break from tradition, that we are too set in our ways, and we have to start making friends. And some people say that Nori should be exiled from the group, but Osadok says no, there's no need for that. Yes, she broke the rules, but she's young, she will learn. And her mother berates her, saying that you are not special, you're just a child. And Nori answers, I know I'm not special, but he is special, the stranger is special, and I know that we have to help him. Which is rather brave of her. But again, it's the old story of the young brave girl who wants to break with tradition, and everybody on her group tells her no, you have to follow tradition. Meanwhile, back in Numenor, Captain Elendil is about to have dinner with his two children, with Isildur and his other daughter, and we see an actual kind of funny puppeteer making a play about Galadriel attacking an orc, because apparently Galadriel is well known around these places as the scourge of the orcs. And Elendil is actually having some troubles being a single parent, trying to keep his son Elendil in line and to keep and not to abandon his training as a karate so he can become a guardsman. Meanwhile, Galadriel visits Halbrand in prison, and she tells him about her findings, and one of her findings is the sigil on Halbrand's necklace, which turns out to be some kind of symbol that marks him as the king of the Southlands. But Halbrand apparently wants nothing to do with that responsibility, especially taking into account that his family swore an blood oath to Morgoth. But Galadriel tells her that yes, your family ended the war, but my family started it, and we are going to redeem ourselves, and that everything is about to change. And again, we are gifted with this gorgeous visual of Numenor at night, and we see the queen climbing this tower, and she talks to someone that an elf has arrived. And I assume that she's talking to the former king, the actual king of Numenor, because this woman is the queen regent. And her father is in house arrest in this tower because he is an elf sympathizer. Meanwhile, the Harfoots are all walking with their carts in their migration, but Nori's family is starting to be left behind because her father still has a wounded leg and he can't push their cart. But the stranger arrives and he announces himself as a friend, and he joins the unexpected journey of the Harfoots. Meanwhile, back in the orc prison camp, the elves start a riot. They manage to break some of their chains and start killing orcs. It seems that Galadriel is not the only one who plays Assassin's Creed, but one of the orcs in charge of this camp says, "Release the Kraken." The warg. And the warg starts killing elves. That thing actually manages to kill most of Halbrand's group, but Halbrand managed to trap it beneath the tree among its roots. and the Watch Warden managed to break his chains and escape, but as Bon Jovi said, he gets shot to the heart, and Arondir is captured again. And one of the orcs says, "Don't kill him, bring him to Adar." And we finish the episode with a really blurry vision of the mysterious Adar. But I can tell that whoever Adar is, it's not an orc. Actually, he looks like an elf. And previously, when Arondir is reunited with his group at this war camp, he is surprised that the orcs refer to their leader with an elvish name. And that is episode 3 of The Rings of Power. Yeesh. Again, we have more exposition, more introduction of characters, and not a lot of progression on the story. What can I say? Galadriel was again. She knows she's in a disadvantage, but she cannot let go of her pride, and she immediately antagonizes her not captors but saviors, because it was Captain Elendil of the Númenóreans who picked her up from the ocean and brought her to dry land. A man who actually helps her in her search of the meaning of the sigil. We have also this thing with the Harfoots, that they are so set in their ways, they're so traditional, and we have this young and brave young lady daring to defy tradition and look beyond the horizon, and of course she's brought back to ground, and she's told that she's not special, blah blah blah. And we have, of course, the man who is too coward or too embarrassed, ashamed of himself to pick up his responsibilities as a leader. So yes, episode 3 and the narrative endures. This is the Technomage signing off. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next episode. Goodbye.